Hello and welcome to the In the Pocket podcast. I'm Logan Martin. That's Max Sturm. Joining us soon is Xander Cook. We're going to dive right into it. I want to get Max's reactions first on the Buffalo Bills, their second straight loss, back-to-back weeks. A team that was favored to, win the AFC coming into this year. Now facing a little bit of adversity, he's going to give his thoughts of as a lifelong Bills fan. And then right after that, we're going to dive into our picks, and each one of us are going to give our picks against the spread and our picks on who wins the game outright. We'll share our records and let you guys know. Transparency is key. We keep full track of the records, and we're going to continue to throughout the season. We've enjoyed it. These picks videos have been fun. I'm sure
Mhm.
Max agrees.
Yeah, for
Xander
sure.
agrees. We're glad we started doing this. Hopefully as we get more and more viewers, it becomes beneficial to our viewers. We're gonna start real quick. Xander's gonna join us soon. His laptop crashed, but we'll dive right into it. Max, the Buffalo Bills, man. Let me
Yeah.
let me paint the picture for you. I want you to really think about
Oh, I
what
saw
you're
it.
about. No, I know you know what you're gonna say actually. But let me paint the picture. Bijan Robinson, 19 carries, 170 yards. Drake London, 10 receptions, 158 yards. Michael Penix, he threw for 250 yards and a touchdown. He was only sacked twice. Like this Atlanta offense was cooking on all cylinders. I mentioned to Max before. They switched to a lot of play action, really opened up the field for the offense, made those linebackers crash because linebackers not only do have they have pass assignments like against the pass game, they also have to fit a gap in the run game. So that play action really opened up the field, allowed the Atlanta Falcons to really lead the whole game. So Max, tell me how you feel about that game, man.
Yeah, well, on a good note, the week seemed relatively normal compared to the last few weeks as far as the whole NFL goes, with the exception of a few games. We'll get into that when we go into our picks, but I'm gonna keep it as YouTube friendly as possible. I would definitely use some harsher words if I was speaking to just you guys in person about this game, but holy shit, dude. I am disgusted by what I saw from the Buffalo Bills on Monday. You come off of a tough loss to the New England Patriots, who really just found a way to stop your two offensive weapons. Josh Allen, who still had a decent game in that one, and James Cook, who really wasn't even used in the second half of that game. And you think that losing to a divisional opponent at home, first home game you lose in almost 2 years, would almost 2 years would motivate you more and have you ready to go for this next game on Monday Night Football versus the Falcons away. But they just fell apart in every aspect of the game. The first play of the game is a run to Bijan Robinson, and he fumbles because of a great hit by Shaq Thompson. It fumbles. We get the ball, but Greg Rousseau's jumped off sides, and that's something that we have been having issues with all year long, offensively and defensively. We are so undisciplined when it comes to being at the line of scrimmage or even in coverage when we end up getting those 15-yard penalties for pass interference or those 5 yards for holding. It's so annoying to watch. And I think that there is some ref favoritism at times, but no, they are just so undisciplined all the fucking time. And it makes me so mad. And then you go down and you let them score in probably, I don't know, three
It
minutes
was
they go
quick.
down and score. And it's Tyler Algier who runs over Taylor Rapp and makes him look tiny compared to the dude. And I believe Rapp's taller. He might not weigh as much, but he's taller and he gets run over. And then you go down, you respond with a great drive. You throw it to Joshua Palmer, who goes up and makes a nice catch for 40 yards. And then you finish off the drive with a nice throw to Dawson Knox, and you're still in the game. And then after that, in the first half, there was jack shit from Buffalo offensively or defensively. We couldn't stop the run. Drake London went crazy. Bijan Robinson went crazy. All we had to do at the end of the half was get a stop, and we damn near gave it up to London. We could have just let them get a field goal. We damn near gave it up to Drake London for a touchdown, who miraculously for Buffalo stepped out of bounds at the 1 yard line. And then in the second half, you think, okay, they're going to adjust. They're going to play better. Uh, you know, they're going to do better. But no, Joe Brady seemed so unprepared for this game. You know how good Atlanta's blitz is. Diablo is a fantastic blitzer at the defensive tackle position, and he was running through the offensive line that only gave up 14 sacks last year all night long. And then on the other side of things, your play calling was shit too. Twice in that second half, you had a chance to go down and tie the game after a blocked field goal by Greg Rousseau and then another great stop. And on third and short, you run a play that didn't work for you last week with an in around jet sweep to Elijah Moore, who goes out to the outside and just he gets stopped immediately. It's so fucking bullshit what the way that they are coached. Sean McDermott is a terrible head coach. Love him as a guy, great leader, but he cannot coach situationally to save our lives. And then when all else fails, you're supposed to rely on Josh Allen. And guess what? You couldn't do that either. He was not set up well with the play of the offensive line or with the play calling that was given to him. And his wide receivers can get open if they had to. There was no
They
one
can't.
open. There was
Keon Coleman
no
can't get separation, bro.
Keon Coleman has one of the worst separations in the league. And I get he's a bigger guy and he's a downfield threat. You throw that 50-50 ball to him. That's why he was drafted. But you can't rely on that. Guys like Khalil Shakir and Elijah Moore, who are fast players, should be able to get open one of every 3 downs. And it just didn't happen. And then if you want to take all the other blame away, Josh Allen played like crap too. He did not have a good game. He threw 2 interceptions. Both the first one was on a drive where it looked like they could score and get back into the game. It would have been 14 to 21 going into the half. The second one, yes, you're down 10 already and you're just trying to get something to go. Ball was tipped up in the air and it's intercepted. But still, you've got to play situationally. That's something Josh Allen has been credited for doing so well over the last 5 years of his career. And he just hasn't done that these past 2 games. And honestly, versus the Saints, he got lucky with some calls going his way. So this Bills team is a dumpster fire right now. Right now, to me, I obviously had them winning the AFC East. Right now, the way they're playing, they're going nowhere. So they better get on the call with either the New Orleans Saints or the Philadelphia Eagles for Chris Olave or AJ Brown, and they better go look for some corners as well, or maybe some guys that can actually tackle on the field. We have one of the worst tackling defenses in the league statistically per PFF. It is so sad to see. Asante Samuel is still out there. Why not go grab him? We keep bringing in guys and thinking that's going to work with guys that have previously played for us, and it just never works out. We're the power of friendship team. We sign guys that were irrelevant 5 years ago. Shaq Thompson, he's played all right, but you had the ball right in your hands and it would have been a pick six. And guess what? You didn't get it. I'm going to leave it there. It was a terrible, terrible game.
Yeah, man. Sometimes the best thing a good friend can do is just shut the hell up and listen. And you just ranted about the Buffalo Bills without any pause, any hesitation for probably 8 minutes. That was impressive. You had a lot to get off your chest, man. I can tell you're pretty frustrated. I had a couple questions for you. I had a couple things I wanted to add, but I'm gonna leave it at that. That was spicy. I think you needed I think you needed to let that out.
Yes, I appreciate the platform. Thank God we have a bye week.
Yeah, the much needed bye week, The only thing I will add is I thought that was a get right spot for them, even though I had Atlanta winning.
Yeah,
I
props
just
to you for
saw,
guessing that game.
I
I
mean,
think we all had them staying within the spread, right? But you picked them outright, so
right. I mean,
props to you
yeah,
for that.
I just saw what the Bills did against the Patriots, and I just saw a lot of holes offensively and defensively. So we'll get right into it, man. Thursday night football, 8:15 on prime time. We got the Steelers at the Bengals divisional matchup. Steelers favored by 4.5. It was 5.5 early, but it's 4.5 now. We'll go with the 4.5. Xander, you're a Steelers
And
fan.
take the spotlight.
Brother, kick it off, man.
This is so last week I called I didn't say that we'd lose to Cleveland. I said we'd obliterate them, and we pretty much did. And then I told you boys, I don't worry, I do have a trap game coming up. This is the trap game. This is 100% the trap game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's prime time. It's in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's wearing their color rush uniforms, and it's the fact that not only is it a Thursday night game on the road against a division rival, but you look at Tomlin's record for Thursday night games on the road against a division rival. It's not good. It's not good. I think he's winless against the division on a Thursday night road game. So the stats back it up. This is going to be a loss for the Steelers, and then Joe Flacco has a full week to prepare himself with the playbook, learn all the plays, and the fact that he has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, way better than the Browns receiving group. I think he's going to start to ball out a little bit. Our pass defense isn't the best. Our run defense is starting to look a lot better over these last several weeks. And then offensively, our run game has looked solid the past few weeks. Passing game has been okay, but Rodgers is still dealing out there. And it's one of those games that in my mind it's tough to call because Cincinnati's defense is horrible. I believe they're 30th right now in yards allowed. So it's tough to call, but like I said, stats back it up. Tomlin on the road against a division opponent for Thursday night football. He's just not a good coach for some weird freaking reason. So I got Cincinnati in this one, 25-20.
Yeah, so
You
I
got Cincinnati winning?
I have Cincinnati winning.
Wow.
yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, and I'm gonna give your team some credit. They, opposed to the Bills, do know how to play situationally. If it's a close game, I don't trust Tomlin all the time, but I think against a team with a defense as bad as Cincinnati's, and playing with a new quarterback, I know he's got a week under his belt now. He's played some time, and now he gets a full week to kind of learn the playbook and get acquainted with the guys. But I still don't think that that's enough time when you're already mid-season. It's already kind of a pressure builder being thrown in mid-season. Plus, the guy's 40 years old, and he just doesn't have that it factor anymore. Um, I just think that the Steelers' offense has been able to do enough all year, with the exception of one game, to get the win. I don't know how much you can rely on their defense, but I think that they will play well against a team being ran by Joe Flacco right now. So for that reason, I have them winning this one 27-21.
Yeah, I'm on board with you, Max. I do think this is a trap game, but I just think Pittsburgh handles business. I think Mike Tomlin's aware that he struggles in this situation and he has in the past. You know, what concerns me is the lack of depth at wide receiver. I feel like DK Metcalf is a clear number one for Aaron Rodgers, but who's the clear number two?
There is none,
And
and there's no Calvin Austin this week either.
exactly, but the big thing is there might be no Trey Hendrickson, and that's why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers score at will. I mentioned before this, they've only been in the red zone 14 times this season. They've converted 10 of them. That's if you've been 14 times and you've converted 10 of them, I feel like that's enough to tell me you're scoring pretty well in the red zone. And against this Cincinnati team that's 29th in offense and 30th in defense, Joe Flacco helps him out, gives him a couple more points, but I don't think it's enough to go against the Steelers defense that just got healthy last week. And they really performed very well. That was the best the Steelers defense has looked, and it was because they're all healthy. They're all healthy against this week. Short week don't matter. I think they get up for this spot. Pittsburgh wins 30-24. Barely covers the spread. So Max and I both got Pittsburgh handling business. Xander going against this team got Cincinnati. Whew.
Like I said, I'm going trap game here.
Hey, I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I will say you've gone against the Steelers plenty of times this year.
Yeah, they've honestly surprised me because I had them losing against New England. Realistically,
Yeah,
they should have gotten blown out by New England.
right,
I had them losing against Minnesota. They almost did.
right.
So I don't know.
Now we got a last London game of the year. I'll cut the part out. 9:30 in London, last London game of the year. Not gonna lie, I've loved the London games. I love waking up and just being able to say, yeah, I'm tired as hell, but I'm gonna sit on the couch and I'm gonna go watch football. And this is gonna last till 1 p.m. and then I'm gonna put more football on. And that's gonna last till 4:30 and I'm gonna have more football on. And it's just like the whole day is football. I love it, man. And this is a great matchup to cap things off in London. Rams at the Jaguars. Possibly no Puka. I'm gonna kick this off. I think the Jaguars cover the spot. I feel like the last week you go against the Jaguars. I had them covering the spread, but the more I look at it, the getting that prime time or that prime win against Kansas City, that's where you go against teams in their next matchup. That's a what we call a trap game, and that was that for the Jaguars. Now this is the time you go back to the Jaguars, take them. If there's no Puka, man, oh, the line's at 3.5 now. If there's no Puka, man, I don't know how this Rams team's going to move the chains like they have all year. Puka's been that guy that Matt Stafford goes to when they need to go, when it's third and medium, third and long, when they need to make a play, he finds Puka. I know Devontae's number two, and he's a great number two, but without Puka, I don't know if this Rams offense functions like they have been. And this Jaguars defense is pretty good. Give me the Jaguars um, covering this number. They win 28-24.
Yeah,
20, not bad.
I think that this one's a toss up for me. These London games are always so tough to predict. I don't know why. They just seemingly a lot of them have been boring to me. I do like watching them, but um, it seems like teams that really do struggle with the jet lag, and I think that the Rams are going to fall victim to that this week, especially if they don't have Puka Nakua. The Jaguars have that team and that system are used to making that trip. They've gone there every year for the last 7, I'm pretty sure. And you know, you've got plenty of players that have been there that are long tenured, so
Right,
they understand that.
right.
My only concern with the Jaguars is they go up against a pretty good defense last week and they score 12 points. They just could not get it done at home against Seattle, who again, very good team, especially on the road. Um, but you're facing another really strong team. And my heart wants to take the Rams, but I really do see the Jaguars pulling this one out, especially if there is no Puka Nakua. And so I've got the Jaguars winning this one 19-16.
Yeah, I'm gonna go against you boys here. You look at last week's game, like Max mentioned, Seattle's defense is incredible. And now you're going up against the Rams, who are just as good defensively as Seattle is. And then obviously having no Puka hurts, so I don't think the Rams are gonna put on a scoring showcase per se, but I do think they do just enough to pull out the win. Stafford is still going to ball out. He knows how to read defenses, whether they're in zone coverage, whether they're in man coverage. And that's not me saying that the Jaguars defense is bad. It's just that Stafford is just that guy. Um, and at the end of the day, you look at the two quarterbacks, it's Stafford versus Lawrence. And as a football fan, as a guy who's watched the NFL his whole life, I'm going Stafford against Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is just a little bit too inconsistent. He's definitely stepped it up this year with an actual offensive minded head coach, but I gotta take Matt Stafford and the LA Rams here. I'm gonna go 20-16 Rams.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too, man. Back to back, me and Max take holding hands and going against Xander.
Oh yeah.
Man, this is a game I just don't even want to talk about. But we gotta pick. We gotta make a pick. We do picks for every game, and I say that because the Saint team has overperformed. I think Spencer Rattler has proved himself this year to be an NFL quarterback, especially with a head coach that's focused on the offense and focused on developing the quarterback. I think they they really meant it when they said, Rattler's our quarterback, not Tyler Shuck. And
Mm.
that kind of just radiated throughout the locker room. Confidence in a quarterback finally. What do they have to lose? Coming into 25, they were predicted to have the number one overall pick in this coming draft. I know they're 1-5. They've overplayed expectations. And this is a Bears team, you're talking about a spot like the Jaguars had. They just won on prime time. Now they're coming back home. Could it be a sleepy spot? I don't know, man. I just think this Bears defense puts it on the Saints. I think Chicago's very loud. And yeah, give me Chicago 28-21. Covering the spread 4.5.
I like it. I'm right there with you. This Saints team, although they're like you mentioned 1-5, they don't look like a 1-5 team. They're one of the most competitive 1-5 teams you're ever gonna see. There's been so many games where if the ball went just their way, one play, they could ultimately be a 3-3 team, or yeah, 3-3 team. And Spencer Rattler has looked awesome as a quarterback, and like you mentioned, the Saints organization firmly believes in Rattler, that he can be their QB1 throughout the season, and he's balled out. Um, so I think this is going to be a close game, but you got to pick Chicago in this circumstance. Everything's going their way out of nowhere. It's the block kick against the Raiders to seal the 25-24 win. It's the game-winning field goal against the Commanders to get that 25-24 win. They're winning games, and it's not just by luck. It's by skill. They know what they're doing. They're practicing these plays in practice, and they're a well-coached group with Ben Johnson. And if you look at the post-game press conferences, that dude has a lot of passion, and that's something that the Bears have been lacking at the head coach position for a long time. And he's definitely rejuvenated that entire organization. Caleb Williams is playing the best football of his NFL career, and it's in Chicago. Back to back gritty wins. You have to take them. They're just going to find a way. And I got the Bears winning 24-20.
So you guys gave the Saints a lot of credit. One
Wait,
of the
so
best 1-5. What?
you do have New Orleans
No, I
covering.
have Chicago.
It's 4.5. You said 24-20.
Yep. Oh yeah, I have New Orleans covering the spread.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just want to clarify. Go ahead, Max.
Um, you guys gave the Saints a lot of credit for what they've been able to do, and rightfully so. They didn't exactly go toe for toe with the Bills, but they kept it close and made it uncomfortable for them. Then they did go toe to toe with the Patriots last week. Um, the only thing you guys didn't do is predict them to win. And if you think back to when we did the NFC South and the NFC North predictions a few months ago, I said this is a trap game for the Bears and that the Saints would win this game, and I'm sticking by my word. The ball is gonna roll their way in this one. This is the Bears are the type of team to have that kind of mistake happen. They're a young team. They're a very young team. Sometimes you're going to make those mistakes, and I do see that happening. Bears defense is awesome. Caleb Williams has really stepped up into the role. He's turned me from being a doubter into someone who does believe in him. But
Man.
I don't believe in him in this game. This is such a trap game, and every quarterback experiences that first game that they are confident they're going to win, and then they don't. And I think that's this game for Caleb Williams. Spencer Rattler has looked great. Outside of a few mistakes. He got his first win a few weeks ago. He's about to get his second. Give me the Saints to win this one 16-10.
Wow, low scoring game. Yeah. Hey, I will say that New Orleans defensive line looked better than I thought they were against the Patriots. They were able to put pressure on Drake May in certain situations. We just made great plays downfield, and the rest really had it out against the Patriots. I think we could have really blown them out. That's what scares me about New Orleans. Yeah, it was a close game, but you think about the touchdown that got called back. That shaved a lot of time off the clock. Eventually went down and scored, but yeah.
Oh my God, that pass interference
On
call on
Stephon Diggs was horrible, man. I'm screaming at
he
the
didn't even
TV.
extend his arm halfway.
Because I'm thinking this is a trap game. Like I picked New England to cover and win because I'm a New England fan. I'm biased, but I knew it was a trap game deep down. I knew Vegas was going to make the call, and that's why the line was so short. But they didn't. They didn't. Next game, Miami at Cleveland. I'll start this off. We got Cleveland favored by 2.5, and I think that's right. I think this is the game where Mike McDaniel's get fired.
How has
Mike
he
McD-
not been?
This is the game where Mike McDaniel's gets fired. He's gonna get fired this game. This is a perfect matchup for the Browns, a high-powered defense against a dysfunctional team in the Dolphins who leans on their offense because their defense is so bad, but they're not going to be able to lean on them this game. I think the Browns know that all they have to do is stop their offense and defensively handle business. And then, Dylan Gabriel doesn't have to put the cape on this game. He just has to do what he did down in London, and they'll win this game. And they're going to win this game. They win 20-13, cover the 2.5 spread. Miami doesn't get anything going on offense.
Yeah, Miami is an absolute shit show right now. top to bottom, they are a shit show. Last week they stayed competitive with the Chargers, who obviously are having their own injury struggles, not only with their two offensive tackles, but on the defensive side of the ball as well. They are hurt. And so you expect that game's going to be closer. I didn't think it was going to be that close. Credit to Naeem Hines getting that return, and then Justin Justin Herbert getting the ball to Lad McConkey, who turned a 5-yard play into a 50-yard play. It was awesome to see for them. But top to bottom, this organization isn't shit. Mike McDaniel, 100%. I think he should have been fired 2 weeks ago.
Right.
They held out. They're holding out for that midseason. The GM's bad. They've lost the locker room. Tua's lost the locker room. He made those comments last week about guys not showing up to team meetings, and a former player called him out and said, "You didn't show up to the first meeting I was there for."
I saw that.
And I don't think he's necessarily wrong for having those thoughts. A team needs to be all in. And
He's the captain.
Right.
He needs to say something.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's where I was getting at. You don't make those comments publicly. You don't. And he's had issues with that recently. Like the whole Tyreek Hill situation. Those probably should not have been public comments either. But just all that combined, the locker room is not behind Tua or this management anymore. And on top of that, their play on the field has been bad. Tua again has been turning the ball over a lot. Their defense is as bad as we thought it was, and they are hurt. They're missing a lot of starters that were supposed to be starting at the beginning of the season, and now they're not. Hot take, I think Jalen Phillips is a trade candidate at the deadline. I think he could go to a team that he would be more appreciated and have a better chance to compete. The Browns have just showed me with their defense against an offense like this one in the Dolphins that is turnover worthy, that they do come up. And the real battle for me is going to be, can the Browns offense produce? And we've seen in that London game they can. They've got it. They've really just got to put their foot on the gas here. And I do have the Browns winning this one. Let's see, 23-20. I think it's one of those stupidly close games, but even though it should be.
Max and I have the same prediction. I'm going Cleveland 23-20. So it's tough because I could see it going Miami's way. I could see it going Cleveland's way. Um, it's a battle of two really, really dysfunctional organizations. But the difference here is that Dillon Gabriel played a hell of a game against Minnesota, and then you look at his game tape against Pittsburgh. He looked like ass. He was ass. His accuracy was terrible. His deep balls were terrible. Realistically, he should have thrown 5 interceptions if Pittsburgh can fucking catch the ball defensively. He was that bad. So you never know. Given his short NFL career, can this guy produce? Can he not? But this is the Miami Dolphins defense, man. They cannot stop a fucking nosebleed. They cannot stop the run. They cannot stop the pass. This is a perfect game for Dillon Gabriel to sort of turn his season around a little bit. Show Cleveland that he can be that starter moving forward, that he doesn't need to be benched for Shador Sanders. And at the end of the day, what's going to separate these two teams is that Miami's defense can't stop anything. Cleveland's defense can. And that's the difference in this game. So I'm going Cleveland 23-20.
I like it, man. I'm gonna cut that out. I just wanted to do that on purpose.
I was tweaking a little bit.
I had
I
to
just saw
break the
Xander
ice.
crack a smile and I couldn't hold it back.
I had to break the ice.
Oh, God.
All right. All right, man. So we all got Cleveland covering
Mhm.
that game.
Yeah.
You know, that might, let me see. Yeah, that's the first one we all agree with.
And it's the fucking Browns.
I know, right? I mean, it's disgusting,
Would've
but
thought.
if you look at the spot situationally for the Browns, this is the spot for them. A bad defense against a good offense and a bad defense because the Browns have a great defense. I feel like the Browns are confident enough that their defense can stop the best of the best offenses at home. They're at home.
That's what I was gonna say. They're at home, and against a team that's been so turnover worthy, you've got to imagine they're getting at least one.
Two, at least, I think.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they fumble open and play.
this is the type of game that the turnover battle will win or lose you the game.
Yeah.
So as long as Dylan Gabriel can keep it somewhat clean,
Yeah.
they got this one.
All right, next game we got New England at Tennessee. I'll tell you what, boys. Earlier the line was at 7. Now it's at 6.5. A lot of money coming in on Tennessee. They think that Tennessee is going to get right after the coach firing.
Mm.
Again, one of those firings that could have saw it coming sooner than that. Finally one of their team leaders came out and said we had the worst week of practice, and I think that was all that the Tennessee organization had to hear because it's something other than what they can see on the field on game day. They see they see the dysfunction on the field on Sundays, but to hear that it's dysfunctional in practice in their preparation, getting ready for a game on Sunday, I think was the nail in the coffin,
Mm.
and ultimately led to the Coach Callahan getting fired. So Tennessee plus 6.5. I don't see it, man. I think New England at this point in their schedule is a lot of weak opponents. So I feel like New England's at that point where they got to rack together some wins. The Bills have the easiest strength of schedule, and next is the Patriots, and this is like I said, this is that middle point. If you look at the Patriots season, they're gonna have to string together some wins. They do so to Sunday at 1 p.m. 34-10, smack them.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, Titans just fired Brian Callahan. Their practices have been dysfunctional. You have an anonymous Raiders coach saying that is the worst team he's ever seen in the last 25 years. Mind you, the Browns have gone winless and the Lions have gone winless. Titans have a win. And there's a coach saying, who cares that they have a win? They're still worse than the 2008 Lions. They're still worse than the 2016-17 Browns. That's how bad they are, and rightfully so. They're only scoring 12 points per game. Their offense is tragic. It is a high school offense, dude. You're looking at these games and it's like, holy shit, they cannot do a thing. And realistically, they should have 0 wins. They got so fucking lucky against Arizona. I've never seen a team that lucky, dude.
That was crazy, man.
And now they just fired the coach. Maybe there's a spark with an interim head coach. I doubt it. New England is heading into their third straight away game, so there's going to be some jet lag going on there. But then you got to look deeper into that, dude. It's Mike Vrabel going against his former team, the team that fired him, and look what they have done since firing Vrabel. Absolutely nothing. Vrabel is going to want to go in there and smack that ass, dude. He wants to put belt to ass, and that's what they're going to do. 33-14 Patriots.
Yeah, if it weren't for the miraculous, maybe stupidest play of all time happening in that Cardinals game, and then the Jets being the New York Jets, this team would be in the contender for the number 1 spot again. And I honestly think that they still are because the Jets are going to get a win here or there that sets them that it gets them out of this winless streak. But the Titans probably I don't think they're winning a game the rest of this season, if I'm being totally honest with you. You're right, Xander. It's a high school offense. It looks awful. And Cam Ward, initially, I wasn't giving him a ton of blame, and now I am because he's had guys that have been able to start reeling in the ball a little bit more. Calvin Ridley's not one of those guys, but you've got some options that you don't have to throw the deep ball. You don't have to throw for the chains every time. You can try and just pick away at a defense and you still end up with a few field goals and a touchdown here or there that will put you in games. But they were poorly coached, so obviously they get rid of their head coach. And who's their interim? Do we
I
know?
think
Oh, I
doing
can't
their
remember.
special teams coach because he used to be an interim head coach.
Yeah, okay. So they've got a new coach coming in. And I don't think that there's really been a great history of first game coaches winning a game. Of course, we had, I believe it was Antonio Pierce came in and won his first game. In recent memory, that's really all I can think of. Um, this team's just terrible, man. They are so bad. They are worse than the Jets. The Jets at least have a competent defense and can get you points on the board. They've just fallen on the short end of the stick a couple times this season.
Mm.
And Vrabel, like you said, Logan's gonna go down there. He's looking for revenge, or maybe that was you, Sanders. He's
That was
going,
it.
yeah, he's going down looking for revenge. This team's on a hot streak. Drake May looks like an awesome quarterback right now. I think you do start talking about at least this season him being top 10, maybe just on the brisk of that. Um, the Patriots are going to dominate, man. And I hate to say it because I want them to lose. Sorry, Logan, but I want them to lose, but they won't. They can't. They won't lose this game. It's impossible. They're going to win 30-10.
I like it, man. Supporting my team. Next game, Vegas, Las Vegas Raiders in Kansas City Arrowhead. Kansas City gets Rashee Rice back. That's going to be huge. That just opens up Xavier Worthy's playing. If he gets healthy, this offense is going to be dynamic. I'm surprised Baker's not the lead for MVP, but as Pat Mahomes, he has been
So
playing very,
dumb.
but he has been playing so very well. And just imagine what it's going to. I think the line's predicting what he's going to do when what Rice gets back, and I think this offense is just going to open up, man. Pacheco looks like he's not hurt anymore. He's running like he was back when we found out about him as a running back in Kansas City, as a rookie coming out of Rutgers. Kansas City gets right, man. Las Vegas, man. Dude, Chip Kelly, this offense is horrible. It was a problem when he was at Ohio State last year. Ryan Day and him switched play calling duties each and every game. And when Chip Kelly was playing, it was just a bunch of dink and dunk and run, born. And Ryan Day took over play calling duties, and they averaged like almost a touchdown more a game. And for the Raiders to go out and hire Chip Kelly as head offensive coordinator at NFL, he hasn't really proven anything at any level recently to tell me he belongs as an O coordinator right now. And this offense is averaging 17 points a game, offense at home and away. The numbers are way better on the road, but it's not going to happen today. Kansas City
Mm.
blows them out. They cover the 12.5 point spread,
Yes.
33,
So
33 to 20.
the Raiders, you would think that under Pete Carroll they would be a better team, and I don't think it's entirely his fault. But there needs to be some change there in his game plan at least. Geno Smith came out this week and had the wildest take of all time and said that he's just getting unlucky. Give me a fucking break, man. You are just not a good quarterback. You thrived in an offense that had at least a decent offensive line, a great running game with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, and then you had DK Metcalf and JSN, and then a good combination of tight ends. And Tyler Lockett, not to mention Tyler Lockett. You thrived in an offense that was set up well for you. And I think this is what people thought was going to happen to Sam Darnold, and it didn't. Or what was going to happen with some other guys. It's not. This is the Geno Smith story. He is a turnover merchant. He's so bad against every type of defense. He can't play against man. He can't play against zone. He's just getting picked apart by these guys. And the Chiefs are riding high. I don't think Mahomes is the leading MVP candidate. Baker Mayfield has been playing awesome.
It
And
might be in a couple weeks, man.
yeah,
Think about this week. Baker's got a tough matchup against Detroit.
yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
The Chiefs riding high, beating the highest scoring offense in the league right now, in the Detroit Lions. And I will say, and I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this. They are the first team in, I think they said since the merger at least, but it might have been longer, that a team has been unpenalized in a game. And then some of those calls were ridiculous. That I can see the call on the Jared Goff touchdown being called back because it's a technicality that you don't always call it, but he got set under the center and then didn't run straight. He ran backwards a little bit. So he was set and then he got out of it and ran. I get the technicality of that, but that Travis Kelce catch that was not a catch, and then him them throwing a flag as soon as Kelsey threw his hands up for pass interference on a ball that was thrown 10 yards in front of him. That's ridiculous, man. Like I think UTEP just did a study that finds with like evidence, statistical evidence that the Chiefs have been favored by the referees. And I think that's a sky is blue moment for the rest of us who have seen that. But outside of that, the Chiefs still played well enough to beat the highest scoring team in the league. And they did it with confidence. And that doesn't change this week. The Raiders, a divisional opponent that has not been successful against the Chiefs in recent years, apart from those one or two games that they find a way to win. You're right, Logan. This offense is getting better with Rashee Rice coming back, and I just think that they're going to win this one outright. Give me a score of 28-7, 28-7.
Yeah, and before you go, Xander, this Raiders defense on the road is allowing just under 32 points a game. So that's going to be tough in Arrowhead. Xander, what do you got?
Yeah, in fact, that was going to be my next point. Heading into Arrowhead, it's the toughest environment to play in the NFL. Now you have a defense giving up just under 32 points per game. You have an offense that is third worst in the league in terms of points per game at 17.2. Gino is just not a good quarterback this year. And before we started this podcast, we said that his change to Las Vegas is going to be pretty much like his last season in Seattle, where he's just going to continue to turn over the football. And that's what we're seeing this season. He's already got 10 or 11 interceptions this season. Now you're going up against a Kansas City defense in Arrowhead and they're +4 in the turnover differential, which is one of the top in the league. That's bad news if you're a Raiders fan.
Yeah.
Geno Smith is turning the ball over. And it's now the Chiefs get Rashee Rice back. They still have Kelsey doing his thing. Pacheco, he started off okay. Now he's starting to get into the groove of it. And then Mahomes just had a 4 touchdown game. Chiefs scored 37 against Baltimore, 30 against Detroit. That offense is starting to click, and it's going to click even more now that Rashee Rice is coming back. And then the fucking brawl to end the Detroit game. Now they're like, okay, now we got people targeting us, which teams have put a target on the Chiefs' back. They know that, but now it's clearly evident there's an even bigger target on the Chiefs' back. So they're gonna come in with a lot of confidence and just blow the Raiders out of the water. It's going to be 38-23 KC.
Yeah, and not to mention on the Geno Smith subject, what were they thinking giving him a 2-year, $75 million deal?
I don't know.
Pete Carroll's on his last legs coaching career, and I think he's just Hail Mary. Hail Mary.
What does that come out to? $37.5 million over in both years,
Yeah.
and 67 of that, 66 or 67 of that is guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wouldn't have paid him that much after what I saw last year in Seattle. He got $100 million extension the first time he had a good year, and then he just shit the bed. The second year wasn't as bad, but the third year was bad.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing it all over again. We
For
saw
sure.
it. It makes you wonder, like, what the hell are NFL GMs looking at?
Yeah, I agree. And next game, I think this is contender for game of the week. We got the Eagles traveling to Minnesota. I'm gonna kick things off. This Philadelphia offense is absolutely broken, man. Philadelphia favored by 1.5 points. This Philadelphia Eagles offense is horrible. I can't stand watching this offense, man. Wow. And it's unfortunate that these talks are going to come back up. I'm tired of talking about Jalen Hurts as a top 10 quarterback because I feel like every few months he's not top 10, he's top 10. Now he's not top 10. Yeah, now he's top 10. And now he's definitely not top 10. He is the
I had him
reason.
in my top 5 going
I
in.
did too,
Dude,
man.
right?
I did too, man. But like a lot of, you've heard the media, ESPN, Anyway, this Eagles offense is underwhelming. That was their spot to get right. Divisional game on the road, handle business. They definitely did not. They're trailing most of the game. Minnesota's going to handle business. And I think the thing about Minnesota is they're only going to win this game because Carson Wentz is their starting quarterback. I think if JJ McCarthy's their starting quarterback, they're going to struggle. But I think a big key is if Jalen Carter's playing, and I can check that right now, unless you guys know, is he playing or not? Because I know he didn't play
I
last
thought
game. He's
part of
playing.
yeah, I thought part of his decision not to play last week, it came out that he literally decided not to play because of MetLife turf, which honestly, I don't blame him at all.
So that's crazy, and it definitely did not help that defense. That defense looked horrible, and their offense doesn't help them out at all. And I think the defense is starting to realize that, and that's where you start to see the bend start to break. And this Eagles team is broken. Minnesota wins at home 20-17, low scoring game.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Samuel.
I like that pick. Personally, I'm gonna have to disagree here. Both offense have been, both offenses have been sort of tragic this season. Um, I mean, especially Philadelphia switching the offensive coordinator. Obviously, they couldn't help that because Kellen Moore got hired to New Orleans. But their new signal caller is just so ass, dude.
Horrible.
He is a Brian
It's horrible.
Johnson 2.0.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. Jalen Hurts hasn't looked good. The Eagles defense also hasn't looked good at times, which honestly I kind of expected considering how many veterans left during the offseason. I think it was 11 of their starters from that defensive squad last season are not on the team anymore. But I think this is the game where they'll start to gel. Minnesota's run defense isn't that good, and that's bad news considering you're going up against an Eagles team with Saquon Barkley. I think the key for Philly to win this game is heavily leaning on running the ball with Saquon Barkley. They have the second or third worst pass offense, and it's not going to get better against the Minnesota pass defense. So you just got to lean heavily on Saquon, and I think that's what the game plan is going to be this week. I think that's what Sirianni knows. He's a good coach, so he'll adjust to it. Uh,
Is he?
and I think I got Philly 27-20.
Wow. Max, what
Yeah,
you got, man?
I have also been very disappointed with this Eagles offense and just how much of a change it's been since Kellen Moore left.
Mm.
Guys, I mean, I brought it up a few weeks ago, and I don't know if you've seen reports now, but I still think that AJ Brown's a trade candidate. I really think that he is. He and Devonta Smith are both getting very frustrated with what's going on in Philadelphia. Devonta Smith has seen a lot more production in the last few weeks than AJ Brown has, and I really think that he doesn't want to play there anymore. I think he doesn't like the quarterback situation and the way that the offense is being ran. The defense is obviously still going to ball out. They have been good despite losing all of those guys. But you're right, Xander. They do have their holes and they do have their weaknesses, and it's shown at times. But I think just against the Vikings team that really, hasn't been terrific, but has done enough to get the wins that they need. I think going against an Eagles team that's on a downward slope right now. Shout out
Yes.
Eagles fans for who are joining me in the Buffalo Bills as being the only two undefeated teams and then losing 2 games in a row. Um, I really think that the Vikings have the advantage here, and they're at home. So give me the Vikings. I think again it's a close game, and I've got 23-20 for this one as well.
Yeah, we almost had it spot on. Next up, 1 p.m. game. Last of the 1 p.m. games. Panthers at Jets. I'll kick it off. Man, this is the one the Jets need. I don't trust Carolina laying points at home. I mean, on the road. The Jets are dysfunctional. Is Aaron Glenn going to get fired before the end of the season? It's starting to look like maybe, and wasn't confident in that answer in what I just said, a couple weeks ago, but it's starting to look like that. Only winless team. Man, this offense is so bad, so bad. But the thing is they need these offensive players to perform in this game because they need some trade value, and that's where they're going to win this game, and they're going to win a very ugly one, a very, 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 very ugly one, and it's going to be 21-20.
Yep.
I yeah, I love that pick. I'm actually taking Logan's side here, and I'm rolling with the Jets here. Uh, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think Carolina surprised all three of us to start this season 3-3. I mean, At times they look tragic. Bryce Young looked like the worst QB in the league. The Panthers looked like the worst team in the league. And then all of a sudden they beat Atlanta 30-0. Come back against Miami down 17-0. They beat Dallas with a game-winning field goal. It's like, what the hell version are we getting out of Carolina each and every week? But like Logan mentioned, this is a necessary win for these Jets. And I want to counterpoint. I don't think Aaron Glenn gets fired his first year. I think coaches getting fired their first year is a dumb move. But it also makes sense considering who their owner is. You know, you can't put it past them.
This is a 0-6 roster.
Yeah, I was gonna say it gets to a point. Like, I don't think you fire him after this game, but if you end up 0-11,
Oh my goodness! I hope you're fired by 0-9. Like
I mean,
this
I could
defense
see it,
is
but it's
okay.
also a guy's first year coaching with a team. So I like to give a little bit.
Why is Steve Wilkes calling the defense? I still don't get it. Maybe it was last game they switched it over because they overperformed. I don't know, but I don't know.
I don't know, but
Until then, it was
like
bad.
we mentioned, it's a must-win game for the Jets, and I like the Jets defense going up against Bryce Young, and I'm going Jets 27-17.
What? The 27 points is crazy, but okay.
yeah, I'm gonna lone wolf this one, and I'm taking the Panthers in this game. I've been very shocked by what I've seen the last few weeks, and I'm confident in what they're able to do. They are facing, surprisingly, a better defense than they have the last 2 weeks. The Jets defense isn't all that, but I do think that their secondary, for the most part, is
Feasible.
feasible. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. They're feasible. Um, where they struggle is the run game, and if you look back to these last few weeks, Rico Dowell, he had 200 yards against the Dolphins, who have a terrible run defense. And then he had 150, 160 against, or no, I think it was 180. He had 180 against the Cowboys last week. And then on top of that, you can open up the pass game with using the run game. And you've got Tedera McMillan and Xavier Leggett, who have both been playing well the last few weeks. So for those reasons, I think that the Panthers continue to move forward, and they'll win this one in a close matchup, 17-13.
I like it. Next
Hmm.
game, Giants at Broncos, kicking off the 4 p.m. games. This is a good game, man. And initially I had Denver covering the 7 point spread. Um, but I got him right on the dot, man.
Also have the Giants covering the 7-point spread, and it's also coincidentally 7 on the dot, like you, Logan. I just think the territory they're heading in. It's in Denver. You have that high altitude. Most players can adjust to that. You have a rookie QB heading into that environment. He's never played at an altitude that high. And you're going up against a Denver defense who is top three in the league. Jackson Dart hasn't faced a defense like Denver. So I got Denver winning this game 23-16, but Giants cover.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where it's 7-17 and the Giants just kick a field goal because they need to and hope they get the ball back with no timeouts. It's one of those
Right.
situations. Max.
Yeah, so I have them also covering as well, but I have it being a lot closer. Just because of what we've seen out of the Broncos offense. I forget which one of you mentioned it. It's hard to watch them too. Um, Bo Nix hasn't looked great. He's shown up at times, but he's always kept it very close offensively, and I think that he's going to do that again. I think where Denver has the advantage is one being at home, but also two of their defense is good, and Nick Bonito is gonna really pressure Jackson Dart, and I don't think he's gonna be as comfortable there. Cam Scatterbo is not gonna have as good of a game, but I think the lack of scoring production from Denver is going to keep it close. So I have it 20-19 for Denver.
Hey, this is the first time I'm ever going to do this, and it might be the only time, but I'm going to switch it. I want to have Denver covering the 7 points. And Max, you brought it up, and I know I thought of it, but I didn't really think about it. Denver's at home, and the mile high is going to get the best of them, and I'm gonna give it an additional 3 points. I got Denver covering 20-10. I'm gonna go 20-10. I think they can cover that number. I just don't think this Giants offense is going to do much, and I think their secondary, the Giants secondary, is bad enough where they can get pieced up a little bit. Colts at Chargers. Chargers favored by 1.5 points. I don't know how the hell the Chargers. I mean, yeah, they're at home, but it's kind of a home game for the Colts in a sense. It feels like all those games on the West Coast kind of turn out home games for the away team. That offensive line for the Chargers, if they're still banged up, I don't know how they hold up and get another tough win. I don't know. I don't know. We've seen the Chargers be very vulnerable because of that offensive line. I think they are vulnerable in this situation. I think the Colts win this game 23-20.
I like it. This is an enormous game for both teams, really. It's sort of like a prove it game for the Colts. They faced a softer schedule leading up to this, and now it's time for their first challenge in facing the Chargers. They're a 4-2 squad. Justin Herbert has looked like an MVP candidate. You're going up against Jim Harbaugh, who is one of the better coaches in the league. The Chargers defense has been pretty good up to this point. So it's going to be a tough task for the Colts, but I think they'll live up to it. I mean, they're 5-1. Yeah, they played a softer schedule, but they have been so impressive on both sides of the ball. And not only that, you can see that they just know how to win. They can obliterate teams and they can win those close games. And that's something I'm not confident with the Chargers. I don't know if they can there's times where they can win those close games and then lose those close games. So I'm going Colts here. Part of me wants to have it high scoring, but I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. I'm gonna go Colts 24-16.
I think with the way that the Indianapolis Colts offense has been running, it's going to be a high scoring game. And I think that Justin Herbert is seasoned enough in this league, along with Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey as well, to keep up with the Colts. And honestly, I have them winning this game, and it's a toss up for me. It is truly a toss up. I will not be surprised either way who wins this game. Um, yes, the injuries on the offensive line are very clear. They are presented well for the Chargers. But I think just this is the get back game and the get right game. Even though they won last week, they still they probably should have lost if not for a miraculous play by Lad McConkey on the last drive there. And I have the Chargers winning this one 31-30.
Mm.
Don't be surprised if it goes the other way around, which obviously you guys wouldn't be. You took the Colts.
Yeah, I like it. Next game, Washington at Dallas. Man, Washington, like, there's things about their offense that's wicked impressive, and then there's times like we saw where they turn it over, and it's like, man. But Jane Daniels, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. There's no question. There's no question. There's no question. He's the same demeanor as Jalen Hurts, just a better quarterback, better thrower of the football, and a better runner of the football, honestly. And he's with the worst team. And he's had no wide receiver help in these past couple games, no Terry McLaurin, and he's still finding a way to keep these Commanders in a position to win the game, even though they're favored by 5.5 points. That never made any sense. I hammered the Chicago Bears plus 5.5. Like that was no brainer with no Terry McLaurin. So, and Dallas performs at home. I got this. I can get the stats right here. Dallas at home, 40 points a game. They're averaging 450 yards a game at home. 331 yards a game, almost 10 yards of completion, 75% completion percentage with Dak. This team, 126 rushing yards. Like, this team at home has been dominant. And this Washington was favored by 2.5 earlier. Now it's getting some Dallas money, and I think they are right. I think Dallas wins this game 33-30.
Yeah, Dallas wins this one, and I don't think it's as close. I think it's going to be 30-17. I'm not as confident in Jalen or in Jaden Daniels as you guys are. I still need to see more out of him. They just lost to the Chicago Bears. He himself blames himself for the turnover on the exchange there. And I think that there's more to be proven with him still. And you know what? Maybe it's this game, but I don't think so. I think that you're right. Dallas has just been too good at home. Can Jay Daniels expose a bad defense in Dallas? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that he'll get some points through that. But
CD's coming back, man.
yeah, CD's coming back, and George Pickens has been on fire.
Yeah.
So give me Dallas. I think I said 30-17.
Yeah. And before Xander goes, last week we're talking about this Washington defense being horrible, allowing the most yards per completion, 13 yards of completion. What the hell are they going to do? All they do is run Tampa 2 and cover 1. And I told you guys
Right.
Ben Johnson's going to watch the film, carve him up. What the hell is CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens going to do? They're going to do anything they want.
Yeah.
Anything they want.
They,
Xander, go
that's
ahead.
like that's like seam central. You just send them
Right.
up the middle.
Right. 100%. Xander, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. I think Dallas takes the win here. Now here's the thing. Dallas's offense is number one in the league in terms of yards per game, and they're scoring at will. And that's a recipe for disaster for Washington. Their defense is not that great, and they're going to get torched going up against a team that has Dak Prescott throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. It, Washington's pass defense hasn't been great this year, so they're going to get carved up. But then you look at the other side of the ball, Dallas's defense has arguably been the worst in the league. They are last in the league in yards allowed per game. They're 31st or 30th in passing yards allowed per game, and they're 29th in rushing yards allowed per game. They have been horrible to start this season. And Jaden Daniels is going to have a good game against this Dallas defense. So it's going to be close. And I mentioned 29th in rushing yards allowed per game. But then you look at Washington. Who's going to torch Dallas on the ground? I mean, Grosky Merritt has looked like a dog for them, but he's too inexperienced. He hasn't had a tremendous amount of awesome showcases, so I don't think he's going to wow us on the run against this Dallas team. And yeah, man, it's going to be close, but I'm going with you boys here. I'm taking Dallas. I'm going to go 31-27.
I like it. We're all on the same page, man. Next game, Green Bay in Arizona. Max, lead it off.
Yeah, I wish I could have more confidence in the Cardinals, but
6.5 points. Sorry.
6.5 points, yeah. It doesn't matter. The Green Bay Packers are going to cover the spread. I think this is one of the first games that the Cardinals don't keep themselves right in it. I just think that the Packers are too good. Their defense is good and their offense is even better. We've seen a few down weeks from Jordan Love, but I think this is his get right game, and so give me the Packers to win this one 30-13.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I'm going Green Bay in this one. They're just a more well-rounded group. The defense hasn't. They started off as the best defense in the league for as soon as they acquired Parsons, but after those first 2-3 weeks, they just been dropping off slowly. I mean, they had that nice bounce back game against Cincy, but when you look at the second half, Joe Flacco started to connect a little bit more. And mind you, he was only in Cincy for like 3-4 days prior. So for Green Bay, they're seriously going to have to lock down their defense, whether it's against Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett. And honestly, especially against Jacoby Brissett, he led Arizona to honestly a really good offensive showcase against a talented Indianapolis group. He could throw the ball a lot better than Kyler Murray can, in my opinion. He doesn't have that scramble ability, but he's an experienced vet who knows where to have that ball placement at, something that Kyler Murray is a little bit inconsistent with. Um, but Green Bay's just a better team, man. So I can't pick them or I can't pick against them in this matchup. So I'm going 27. I'm going to go 27-20 Green Bay.
27-20 Green Bay, man. You made some valid points. Jacoby Brissett is better for this Arizona Cardinals team if he's at quarterback right now. And the reason is Kyler Murray, if he's dealing with a foot injury, you're taking away half of his game, his ability to move around in the pocket. And one thing about this Green Bay team is we haven't seen him cover since week 2 against Washington. They didn't cover against Cincinnati. I called that. They didn't cover against Dallas. We all were stunned by that. And then they lost outright against Cleveland. They have not been able to cover these big numbers, even though they are the superior team week in and week out, and they're not going to cover this one. And we saw what the Green Bay defense was struggling with against Dallas on the road indoor, and that just opened up the offense. And we saw Brissett throw for 300 yards, or was it 300 yards? Man, he was carving up. I know he carved it up. They were a freaking drive away from beating the Colts last week, man. A drive away from beating the Colts. 320 yards Jacoby Brissett threw for against the Colts. The Colts defense has been lights out. And, Green Bay on the road, they're allowing 26 points a game compared to their 16 at home. They're allowing 330 yards per game compared to their 240 at home. This defense hasn't performed on the road, and they haven't covered these big numbers. So I got the Cardinals covering the 6.5 points. They lose 26-23. Green Bay wins. Arizona covers.
I
Um,
like it. I like it.
so now we got Atlanta. Thank you, man. Atlanta at San Francisco. Whoo, this is a trap game for Atlanta. Give me San Francisco. I'm gonna keep it short. Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. Don't care. I think San Francisco without Fred Warner stuns Michael Penix. I think Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, who's proven to be a great defensive coordinator this year, puts together a game plan that stops this run young quarterback. Not to mention um, Bijan Robinson and Drake London combined for 16 of the 20 completions Michael Penix had this last week. That's not going to happen this game, in my opinion. San Francisco wins this game and covers 24-20.
Yeah, so I think that I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Atlanta comes in and wins this game. And I had confidence in the 49ers prior with even with some of their injuries, but you lose the captain of your defense and the guy who's responsible for keeping you in so many of these games. And obviously on the offensive side of the ball, even with Mac Jones, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got your selection of wide receivers that have been decent for you. Um, I just think that the Warner injury is the straw that broke the camel's back, and they're not going to be able to keep up with Bijan Robinson and Drake London. It doesn't matter if Michael Penix doesn't have a fantastic day behind the center. I just think that their run game alone can beat this damaged team of the 49ers. And so for that reason, I have them winning this one 26-20.
Mm. Yeah, this is a toss up for me. But the Falcons are on a short week. They played Monday night against Buffalo, got a awesome win against Buffalo. And the 49ers are banged up. No Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa. They're just banged up on all sides of the ball, and it's devastating to see because have those guys been healthy, they can easily be an undefeated team, in my opinion. There's a chance that Brock Purdy can come back this week, and that absolutely matters. And then you look at Atlanta's pass rush, they're an incredible unit. They have stepped up threefolds compared to last season, and that's going to be a challenging game plan for Kyle Shanahan. But I think Shanahan takes advantage of it. I think he does minimize that pass rush, and I think the Niners take advantage of a team that just played a Monday night game. So I'm going San Francisco here, 22-17.
I like it, man, and I feel like this line's telling us. You got a banged up San Francisco team that plays the Falcons, who just beat the Bills on prime
Mhm.
time. Man, this line's telling you that San Francisco is going to find a way to pull this out. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times this year. 2 games left, and then we'll go over the record. We got the Buccaneers at Lions, man. Man, I have no idea how I feel about this one. It's 5.5 points, and I'll tell you one thing. If you're a road team or a home team and you're a 5.5 point underdog, take that 5.5 points, man. For some reason that number is wicked profitable for the team catching the points. And for that reason, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers to cover that. I don't know if they win. I don't know if they win, but I'm gonna go. We saw that Lions secondary was banged up, and that really bit them in the butt against the Chiefs. And Lions are great at home. Baker Mayfield MVP caliber year. Give me the Lions to win 28-23, but the Buccaneers cover.
Yeah, I like it. This is a game that whoever wins is going to be that team to beat in the NFC. You got the 5-1 Buccaneers. They're top the NFC right now. The Lions are 4-2. Um, but the Lions offense has looked Outstanding. Yeah, they had a pretty crappy game against Casey, but outside of that, they have been the best offense in the league. And both teams have a lot of injury issues. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Talk
Bucks
about it. Bring it
have
up.
no one at
No
receiver.
one, no
They
Ibuka.
have no one. Yeah, both teams have fought hard through these injuries, and the Bucks are the top of the NFC right now solely because Baker Mayfield is that fucking guy. He is MVP right now. He is putting up elite numbers without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, without Emeka Egbuka now. Uh,
Haven't seen it without Ibuka yet.
oh, that could change things,
Oh,
Sterling Shepard masterclass incoming.
mm, but right now. Jared Goff is also putting up MVP numbers. You look at Goff stats; he's having a hell of a season so far. Um, and with the Bucks having little to no receivers and Jared Goff's offense is fully healthy, I'm gonna go take the Lions in this one, and I'm expecting a shootout. I'm going Lions 34-30.
Yeah, guys, this is either gonna be a really good week for me as far as the outright goes, or a really bad week because I'm picking against you guys again. And I have seen enough from Baker Mayfield to know that regardless of what injuries he has at the wide receiver position, and yes, he's missing it. I think Godwin is able to be back, right? I think he played last week. So he might or might not have Chris Godwin. He won't have Ibuka, and he probably won't have Mike Evans again. But I've seen production out of the depth that they have in that wide receiver room. And then just on top of that, he has been the MVP so far this year. You argue with the wall, and anybody with football knowledge should know that Baker Mayfield is the number one option, or number one favorite to be the MVP right now. He's just looked awesome. They're going up against a very high scoring offense, and that's where I think the worry is can their defense keep up with that, and can Baker come out and compete with that offense, and go tit for tat with Jared Goff and what they have on the offensive side of the ball. I think that I'm gonna take the Buccaneers here, and I do think it's a shootout, and I think it's 38-37.
38-37.
Yeah, I'm picking in the games that I feel like could go both ways. I'm picking a one score game because at least they cover the spread. I don't think that it's possible
Right.
that the Lions beat them out by that much.
Right. So I mean, we all got Tampa Bay covering. Um, except you're on a Long Island. You got Tampa Bay with the upset win.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I like it, man. And then the last game, 10 p.m. on a Sunday. I don't know if I'll be awake for that game.
10 p.m. on a Monday.
Oh, it's a Monday. It's
I'll
a
be
Monday night game
snoozing, dude.
at 10 p.m. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I got work so early the next day.
Wow. Yeah. Well, now I got to get the ESPN up because I forgot what the spread was. But Texans on the road
I think it's +3 for Houston, so -3 for Seattle.
+3. Oh, okay. So Seattle favored by 3 points at home, 3.5 points at home. I'll tell you what, man. Texans are covering this game. And Seattle has not proven anything um, at home. It's weird. This is the only team in the NFL I feel like I can say this about where they just outperform on the road and they don't live up to expectations at home with the 12th man. And we're going to see that. I think the Seattle Seahawks win this game. This is going to be a defensive battle. Both offenses are going to struggle to get anything. Seattle wins this game 19-17.
Yeah, I'll make it real short and sweet because I'm getting exhausted. Seattle is winning this game, and I think that they do it by a score of 24-20.
Yeah, Seattle looked dominant against Jacksonville defensively, and they looked pretty good offensively. And uh, I'm actually I'm gonna be the lone wolf here. Even though they look dominant against Jacksonville, they're facing a well-rested Houston group coming off a bye, and you're going up against a Houston group that has the best defense in the league, in my opinion.
Yes, they do.
And that offense is starting to click a little bit more. So So I'm with Logan on this one. It's going to be super low scoring just because these are two of the best defenses in the league. But in my opinion, the better defense wins, and that's Houston. And like Logan said, Seattle just isn't as good of a team at home as they are on the road. So I'm going Houston here, 13-10.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I like it. We'll go over the records real quick, man. Week 4 results. When we're talking spread, Max won barely. He went 8-7, won over 500. So congrats, Max. I got second. I went 7-8, and then Xander had a rough week, much like my first week of doing this. He went 4-11
Ooh.
against the spread. Tough one. Can he bounce back? Can he bounce back? Bounce back week. So when we're talking spread throughout 3 weeks of us doing this new segment, Xander, you were in last place against the spread. You're 24-37. I am in second place. I'm 26-35, so you're not too far behind. And 2 points or 2 games spreading or between all of us. Max is leading by 2 games. He's in first, 28-33. So we're all under 500. Tough first 2 weeks. These last two or tough first week. These last 2 weeks have been pretty good. Or two, yeah, we've been doing this for 4 weeks, not 3 weeks actually, right?
3 or 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks, I don't know. Anyway, we've been doing a lot of games. I can't wait to get back to 500, and I say back like I was 500, but we're eventually going to be 500, boys. So, and then straight up, I got first, 13-2. Man,
Damn good week.
if I placed a $10 bet on the 13 winners, I probably would have had like I would have won a lot of money. Second, Max right behind me, 12-3, and Xander cracked 500. He won 8-7. So when it comes to pick'ems, I'm in first place. I'm 40-20, 40-20-1. That's pretty impressive, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm not proud of the spread record, man. So I wouldn't. I'm not too happy with my overall performance. So I need to get better. Max, you're in second place. You're 36-24-1, and Xander, you're still above 500. You're 32-28-1, man. So Xander, you got some catching up to do, but we got a lot of NFL left, man. We got a lot of
It was
NFL
that
left.
last week.
Man,
Unfortunately.
I got screwed over by primetime games last week.
Yeah, you did. You
Oh my
did.
God. I think
Wow.
those are the
So did
only ones I got
I.
wrong.
Because
Right,
I had
man. Wow.
Buffalo and freaking
I
Washington.
I got them both right. I got them both right on the dot. That kind of saved me. That saved my week for sure. But yeah, man, this is the In the Pocket podcast. Appreciate you guys for all tuning in. We're gonna start doing a set schedule every Monday. Monday night we're gonna start recording, get a recap in from the previous week, so it's fresh right after the week. And then Wednesday, Thursday, whenever we feel like it, we're gonna get these picks videos in. So In the Pocket podcast, I'm Logan Martin. That's Max Sturm. That's Xander Cook. We appreciate y'all. Have a good night.